You want a fall proving ground. A year ago, the likes of Reed Dursky and Selvin Garrett rode the Texas State Games underclass edition to the future games. Lubin Rincon, he did them one better, taking that momentum all the way to the prep baseball All-American game. Now the classes of 2028 and 2029 have planted the seeds to try and join these past successes, with the latest Texas State Games having taken place on the campus of Sam Houston State. Welcome into Coffee and Curveballs. Corey McCartney, joined by Shooter Hunt. And Shooter, with more than a dozen of Texas's top 50 players in the 2028 rankings and some exciting 2029s, you pretty much had to have your head on a swivel to take in all this talent.
Yeah, this has become a marquee event, really. The Texas State game, especially that underclass. You talk about last year's epic event. I think 20 plus guys are probably Power Four commits at this point. Really served as a proving ground for guys going to the future games before obviously blowing up. You talk about Lubin Rincon, who was an absolute unknown before he came to this event. Now he's an All American, committed to Texas. But outstanding talent once again. You talk about not just the 28s, but the 29s. I think there'll be a few guys you'll see in those national rankings coming out soon.
Well, you put together an extensive list of the players who made an impression. We're going to narrow that down to a tidy dozen here on Coffee and Curveballs. Let's start with those 2028s. And Landon Bonner was the highest ranked player in the class at Sam Houston State, with the Hebron shortstop, who has a very full toolbox, pushing EVs north of 97 and an infield arm up to 86 miles an hour. Listed at 5'7", but this is a game that is bigger than the frame.
Corey, you know it. Undersized is new 6'4", and for a guy who steps into the box, not very big, not intimidating, he really makes his presence felt. At shortstop was dynamic, made a couple sensational plays throughout gameplay. Went to the backhand on a charge, quick glove to hand, ball over on a line, made it look really easy. Then at the plate, everything was bat the ball and kind of jumps off surprisingly hard for just a smaller frame. He is a 6'6", 6'7" runner, but super high IQ. I think he has a chance to stick at shortstop. Very similar to a guy down by you a few years ago, Jay Abernathy, who's now at Tennessee, can play center field, can play shortstop. There's some versatility to it. And I think he's going to get stronger, a little bit bigger there. But right now, there's not many holes in that swing, and he's going to have a chance to really develop in a hurry.
Two more top 50 players who are also among Texas's top 15 shortstop. Iowa Colony's Levi Abrego, ranked 41st overall, 14th at the position, an absurd exit velo up to 104.7. Meanwhile, Friendswood's Ryan Chisholm, who's 46th overall, 15th among shortstop, not far behind Abrego, with a bat speed of 73.6 and an arm that's into the mid 80s in the field.
Yeah, you go through a 2-day event like this without having much knowledge on a guy like Levi Abrego, and all of a sudden he just kept popping up and coming up in my notes, whether it's in gameplay, looks right, it's super balanced at the plate, no holes that a pitcher can really pitch to because it's so simple with the bat, but then it explodes. You talk about those high exit velocities, there's strength there now. He moves athletically, solid runner. All the metrics are all stand there as a power four type guy who's going to be a big name next summer for coaches to follow as a run producer. Then you go to Chisholm, who from Friendswood, right in that Houston area, just a little bit south. Not the biggest guy again, but he just dominated gameplay. And it's just something, you step in the box and you look hitterish. There's some confidence to what he brings to the plate. And then, for not a big frame, man, there's some explosiveness and some tight turns, some tight window turns from him from the right side. He was driving the ball gap to gap. I think he had multiple extra base hits.
A pair of arms among the 28s that we'll hit on. Lefty Yates Ashley out of Katy, who has a wicked arsenal off that 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Then there's Dripping Springs righty Logan Starnes, 37th in the class. He's on the cusp of 90. Both of these guys, Shooter, imposing figures, standing 6'4".
That's Texan, right? You're looking for workhorse frames, square shoulders, 6'4", and big power arms. Yates Ashley has a lot of unteachable. Not many people in the world can do what he does. It's about 6'4", square shoulder, up to 90 from the left side. It is super easy. Check out that video. It's nice and smooth, silky smooth. It comes out of the hand. He can really have that explosive fastball at that ride and run. He's going to get whiffs on the pitch. I think the velocity is going to jump way higher in the future, which is scary to think of. Slider flash as a developing weapon for him, but it looks like a starter profile of a guy that has a lot of unteachable. Again, he's left-handed, he's big, he's strong, he's a starter. And then you go over to Starnes, kind of similar, but less of a long, loose, more of an efficient, right to the ear, working downhill. I think his velocity is going to continue to climb. He has that athleticism and that 6'4" frame that is very impressive, especially at a young age. Feel for a sweeping slider. He's going to be a guy that I think a lot of coaches, especially in Texas, some big power programs, will want to get out to see as early as this spring.
Behind the plate is Rouse's Brody Sharp, and you want a full plate of metrics from a catcher. How about a 195 pop time, 78 mile an hour arm, 104.5 exit velo, and a 78.4 bat speed? Shooter, suffice to say, that will play.
Yeah, he's checking a lot of Broder Kotke type boxes back there behind the plate. Moved really well. I thought even more so than just what he was doing catch and throw throughout the workout portion. Did a really nice job behind the dish receiving. Probably a lot of arms that he'd never seen before. So kudos to him for that. But also at the plate, it's loose wristed. It jumps off the barrel. He moves well through impact. He's going to have a chance to make some adjustments throughout because of the athleticism. But he looks like a guy who's got a chance to really hit.
On to the 2029s. And while you did get a glimpse of some of these players at junior feature games, including one in particular that we'll get to very shortly here, what was the overarching take for you on the 2029s after leaving Sam Houston State?
I think another dynamic group, right? And when you think about these 2029s, you really start with those big power states like Florida, Georgia, California, and of course, Texas. And they did not disappoint.
Three infielders to key in on, led by Kingwood's Maddox Bryant, who opened eyes, as I mentioned there at the junior feature games. Already exit velos north of 90. Oh, and he can hop on the mound as well. Plus, you got an extensive look at Manfield's Antonio Gill. He had the 99.9 EV and a 91 mile an hour infield arm, and Bridgeland's Dallas Loeb, who also brings some gamer vibes to go with some serious bat to ball skills.
Yeah, we've talked about Mattis Bryant in the past. He's going to be a guy who's well featured in those national rankings. And dude can just flat out hit. Very similar to Ace Reese, another Houston area guy who's now having success at Mississippi State, potential first rounder. But it's tight window quickness, heavy barrel, blasted a home run in a huge matchup, left on left. He just looks like a guy that has a lot of it factor, really good athlete, also plays some football. Antonio Gill is blown away by my first experience seeing him out there. The moxie, the confidence, he plays much older than he is. Looks the part of a guy who can stick at shortstop, real strong arm across, 6'7" runner, but the bat speed, works short through long, can move the barrel around. I think he's going to have a chance to really hit there. And they talk about Dallas Loeb, who coming in, I knew this guy's got a chance to have a real special bat to ball. And he just played hard the whole time, especially for a freshman. He was out there to prove himself the entire time, had multiple hits on the week, and really showed well. Looking forward to following his entire high school career.
Outfielder Carter Holder screams follow at 6 foot, 175 pounds out of Concordia Lutheran. Another junior feature gamer that's just ripping off a 6'6", 60 to go with a solid stroke at the plate.
Yeah, what we're trying to find athleticism, aptitude, aggressiveness, and that's something Carter Holder brings to the diamond. 6'6" runner, right-handed stick, gap to gap approach, can really run. What's that impact going to be with the speed? I know that the bat's going to continue to get better. He's a guy that's got to be a close follow for all coaches around the country.
Also, a pair of two-ways in Brewers' Brennan Ball, another junior feature gamer, and Budda Johnson's Cooper Knight, two guys who show you a mid to high 80s fastball and 95 plus EVs.
Yeah, Brendan Ball is blown away. I love the simplicity of his left-handed stroke. It's nice and smooth. The barrel stays in the zone forever. He had some success throughout gameplay. He's a good athlete too, moves well on the bases, can also hop on the bump. So you just like to see what the competitiveness is like from a young athlete like that, who's just a freshman, but I think he's going to have a chance to really hit. So be sure to follow that bat to all coaches. And then Cooper Knight kind of cemented himself as one of the best young players in this class nationally. Left-hander, he's about 6'2", 180, hopped on the mount. It's 3 pitches for strikes. He's going to continue to make some jumps because there's some minor adjustments that I think could have him explode on the bump. He has a chance to be a frontline type arm. But, oh, yeah, he can also hit, which, again, having that competitiveness and that drive to want to win, and I saw it from him all weekend. He wants to go out there and show that he's the best at all times, and that's only going to help him to succeed in the long run.
Well, absolutely some names to circle. We'll be excited to see who uses the Texas State games as a springboard to a massive 2026, just like those future gamers and All-Americans before them. You know, we've got so much more coffee and curveballs coming your way, so keep it right here. Until next time, I'm Corey McCartney, that's Shooter Hunt, and we'll see you at the Diamond.